Juice Crew family.
We're back.
We are back.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back for episode number
6.
6, fellas. It is episode number 6. We are rolling. My name's D'Lo, along with my co-host Ty and Landon, and we are the Juice Crew.
Yes,
and as you can see to my left here, we have another special guest for you guys. Music and creativity have always been a major component of his life. This guest has always been extremely fascinated in stories, both experiencing others and sharing his own in a wide array of forms, whether it be fiction, poetry, bringing characters to life through acting, or through composing music. You want to introduce yourself real quick for our family here?
Yeah, I mean, that was a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. But yes, sir, my name is Tyler Brooks. Happy to be here.
Yes, we have Tyler Brooks on here for you guys today. But let's start it off how we kick off every episode with a cheers, guys. Let's do it. Cheers to episode 6. Cheers up. Oh, man. So let's dive right into it. I mean, we got the special guest for you guys today. This is our second guest, as you guys are aware of. So I'm going to start it off right off the bat. I want some controversy to start this episode off.
I know where he's going.
I want some controversy to start this episode. We're going to take it back to their days. Let's just first, let's talk about the introductions. Tyler, how did you first meet Ty and Landon? Let's start off there.
All right, for sure. So I've definitely known Landon a lot longer. We go way back. We went to elementary, middle school together over at St. Brennan's in Clifton.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, bro. We also grew up not very far from each other, both in Patterson. So I've definitely known Landon longer. And then I, quote unquote, knew Ty from our small rivalry in the middle school basketball days.
Small rivalry.
And y'all know about the rivalry already.
It was actually, bro, it was so funny because I listened to your first episode. It was so funny to hear you guys talking about the old league, like Patterson Catholic and stuff, and St. Brendan, St. Andrews. Hear y'all talking about how everybody hated Mount Carmel. So it's like, yo, this is stuff I haven't thought about in years. And it's just such a throwback. But yeah, and then we all went to, I'm a year older than both of them, so I was at Paramus Catholic first, but we all went to Paramus Catholic, all played ball there as well. This is my first time meeting D-Lo. Yeah, okay. This is my first time meeting him right now, but I mean, yeah, that's our backstory.
So first of all, if y'all don't, they can't even see your height, I don't think, based off the camera. But his height hasn't changed much. Tyler Brooks been like 6'10" forever. And I had to play against 6'10" when I was like 5'3". So clearly, as people keep seeing this story of St. Andrews versus St. Brendan's, I hope y'all see with every St. Brendan's guest we bring on here how unfair it was for me to play against all that. But we still didn't lose by 50.
Well, I was just about to get into that because the story I'm getting from a lot of people, it seems like Ty, y'all got your ass handed to you. Now that's all. I wasn't there, but everybody who I've spoke to, everybody who's on this St. Brendan's team says they was beating y'all by 50. So I need y'all to clarify this story up. So Tyler, can you please clarify what this St. Brendan St. Andrews game looked like when you played Ty?
I mean, I can't confirm nor deny the 50-point. but
no, you can confirm.
But it was definitely one game. You know what's funny though is I remember when I first started playing ball for St. Brendan. It wasn't really a rivalry because we was getting our ass kicked by everybody.
Yeah, because
everybody.
We had a couple 7th and 8th graders above us.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to really.
We was the young bulls on the team.
We were just the young bulls. So.
Yeah, and it was like I can't even remember. Do you remember there was one team that everybody beat?
St. Clair.
St. Clair. Oh my god!
And
it was like if we was playing. St. Clair was like, all right, at least we're going to have one good week this time, though.
You can't.
No, as it evolved, though, yes, absolutely. As it evolved, though, we got a lot better. We got older. We got some other, cool younger dudes underneath us. And we got a lot better as it went on. So at that point, yeah, it wasn't really a rivalry no more. It was
So I'm just going to add a little bit of my side to it. So, when you're in middle school, you're not the tallest. So like Ty said, I was like 5'3", but what I did have, at him. He was 8th grade. He was probably like 6'3", 6'4".
I was around there.
Yeah, he was tall. And we had a couple others with him, but so I can confirm it did get nasty. I'm saying 50. It was me. I had a couple other 6-footers with me. It got crazy.
Deal, you see this?
Crazy.
How does he going up now? Like every he started going up.
You guys are my witness. I'm gonna bring more St. Brendan's members through.
They bringing the gang out, bro.
I need you to defend yourself. You need to get on your phone and call some St. Andrews help because clearly you need backup here, Ty. I need to hear it. I need to hear your side here.
I don't know how much help I'm gonna have, but it's funny that we mentioned St. Clair's because a funny story is I almost was going to St. Clair's. I almost went to St. Clair's too, bro. The only reason I didn't go to St. Clair's is because the school was on the hill and my mom didn't want to be driving up the hill and drop me off at St. Clair's. But that would have been funny if I had to go.
That's hilarious.
I think that would have been worse situation.
God for the hill. Yeah, Ty, they would have treated you like, the golden ticket.
Bro, literally.
They were terrible.
Yeah,
right.
That's crazy.
So when you were back in middle school and back in elementary school, was basketball the only sport you kind of dove into, or did you try any other sports?
Nah, it was really just basketball. I played other sports, of course, on the schoolyard or with friends in the street or whatever, football.
Right.
By the way, hold on. I heard St. Brendan's gym class used to get crazy.
St. Brendan, not St. Brendan, used to come back in sweating, bro. If you didn't have gym last period, you was stinking the rest of the day. I ain't gonna lie.
That big parking
bro,
lot
in the
too.
big parking lot.
Yeah.
We got it cracking. We were serious. It was no games.
Yeah.
There was no concern in middle school, elementary school. You just wanted to go play. You didn't care about smelling good, going back to class.
I've only broken one bone in my entire life, and it was playing ball in the parking lot at St. Brendan's.
In gym, not a real game, not on the road, nothing like that. We was in gym.
Get competitive back in those days. When
I'm
you were
sure.
7th, 8th grade, you're playing for the lunch bragging rights.
Exactly. It was crazy too because we was only out there for 20 minutes, and in those 20 minutes, your whole life changed.
I swear, in those 20 minutes, you're putting up NBA stats. Like, you played 60 minutes. In lunchtime, I'd have put up 15 rebounds, 15 assists,
stat sheet stuffer, baby.
And then lunchtime was like the ESPN post game, bro. Everybody was sitting around analyzing the games, who did what.
Nah, that sounds like a great time, honestly. That sounds like a great time. So you never dove into any other sports? I just had to ask because I see with your size. You look like a football player. You look like you could have went out there and dominated on the football field, honestly. Yeah. If I was a football coach over at St. Brendan's or wherever, or even PC, I'd have been like, bro,
they definitely asked me a few times. But I was just like, it just ain't me.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, it's like, you ever see somebody and it's like, they look like they would be nice or something, but then you put them on the field and it's like, oh, I might have misjudged it. That would have been me with football.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. But Ty, I want to jump in, kind of you and Landon's relationship. Was that really basketball at St. Brendan's? Was it just being at St. Brendan's together in class? When did you guys, what was the first interaction that y'all both kind of remember, at St. Brendan's?
First interaction, I was 9, 10 years old, so I can't tell you our first. But yeah, it was definitely basketball because like I mentioned earlier, I'm a year older, so we never had classes or nothing together, especially in elementary, middle school. But definitely through playing basketball, both on the schoolyard or playing for the team at the school. Also, like I mentioned earlier, we didn't live that far apart, and I was really cool with one of our other teammates, Salim. Who was Landon's next door neighbor. So I would go to his house a lot, and then Landon was right there as well. So I can't tell you our first interaction, but we knew each other. We were in the same spaces a lot all the time since long time.
I love that.
I actually have a funny story. Do you remember the free throw competition for the number 23?
I don't.
Oh man! All right, so I have an infamous Juice Crew story. So 7th grade, like I said, we had a bunch of older kids in front of us. So when they left, there was a bunch of numbers opened up for us.
Yeah.
So when you're a little kid, everybody wants their favorite player's number, a really good number. So me and Tyler, we both wanted 23. Obviously, Michael Jordan, LeBron, just a few to name off the top. Pretty good number to have. So we're deciding to go for 23. So we're like, all right, how do we do this? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Does he get it because he's older than me? We were like, you know what? Let's do a free throw competition. So we shot 5. I remember this, bro. I remember Coach Tom was watching this, that, and third. And Tyler, you banked all 5 free throws, bro. And you took 23 from me, bro. I remember.
Gosh,
that was crazy. I very, very vaguely remember that.
I remember. I think I went 3 for 5 or something, because I'm in 7th grade. Nobody's a knockdown free throw shooter or whatever. So, and then I remember watching you bank the 5, and I was just sitting there, just like.
Landon was like, "Oh, there goes 23." Yep. So is this how you transition to 5? Is that how you got to the 5?
Believe it or not, I actually went to 75.
75. Oh, whoa.
That's.
I know you got it.
I ain't never heard nothing like that.
Me neither.
75 in basketball.
Trust me, I remember going home. like, hey, Ma, you know, I'm 75.
That's disappointing.
And then,
Right? I would have went home crying.
what was that, like a test score or something? Like, nobody expected.
This is another example of just how sports can really keep you connected for
Yeah.
long-term friendships. Like, I mentioned this before on the podcast, but like I have so many long-term friends that I'm still friends with today because of sports. Like meeting them through, you know, my days playing baseball, football, basketball. Like a lot of my tight-knit friends are met through playing sports together. So I love how, you know, you're able to still just go back, you know, hit up some of your old buddies from your middle school days that you went to school with, played basketball with, and, you know, are able to come on our podcast. Like, I don't know when the last time you guys particularly spoke, but you know, it's cool for Landon to just be able to hit you and be like, yo, you want to do a podcast? And you were like, yeah, for sure. Like, I love seeing that component with sports. I think that's a big thing that people kind of forget, the relationships that you form with sports.
Yep, definitely. One thing I kind of want to jump into a little bit is talk a little bit about high school and like Paramus Catholic, because another, like, I kind of want to start setting up your transition, getting into like the film and like the singing. Like, did that something that started you getting interested in high school toward your like later part? 'Cause I know for me, like basketball was there, but then once, like for me, I didn't see like, you know, many Division I or any Division I offers, very minimal to 2 offers. So you already start kind of like, what do I want to do for my career? So like, talk me a little bit through like high school days and like, you know, being on the basketball team. Obviously, we had Coach Mack. I wish you could have been around for our one last hoorah year when we actually feel like we brought the pieces together.
I remember watching, not watching it live, but like seeing on social media and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, damn, now they get good to you. But
Still not good enough to beat me.
oh man, let me think, bro. High school, I ain't gonna hold. High school was a tumultuous time for my basketball career. So it's actually pretty funny because, I mean, like I said, I listened to y'all first, or I don't know, whenever y'all talking about, we were talking about high school. It's so funny how we were there at the same time, but our experiences with high school basketball were so different.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I actually envied you guys because y'all had a squad that came from your freshman year basically up to the end, senior year. Y'all was with the guys. With me, I was the only player left from my freshman team.
I remember that.
When I was a sophomore. Like, my whole team either quit, transferred, or straight just didn't make the team the next year. So it was just me pretty much and like the older. And it's not like I did not get along with the older guys, but it's not the same as being there with your dudes who came in. On top of the fact that we was trash, and there were so many different coaching changes as well.
Yeah.
So like I was excited to come to PC because why a lot of people did was because of Coach Barnes, who was like an amazing coach. He was from Patterson. Like I knew a lot. He knew me. Like I knew a lot of people who knew him. Everybody loved him. He like unfortunately he actually had a stroke. I think it was in between my freshman and sophomore year. He couldn't coach anymore. So then Coach Mack, who was the JV coach, got bumped up to the varsity coach. And so after my freshman year, he was just my coach for the rest of my time in high school. And it just numbers were not it, bro. I don't know what to tell you. We was getting smacked a lot. It was like, I think it was my sophomore year. We had do y'all remember Marquise Watson? Yeah. He was on the football team. Oh. He was on our team, bro. Big Keith, yo. It's one of them things that is not funny during the time, but it's so funny looking back on it now. He was one of those dudes who was like, he's the floor general. He wasn't like the best basketball player, but he was one who got everybody hyped. He had a very high basketball IQ. He was giving everybody the pep talks. You know, he was yelling in the circle before the games and in the locker room, all that kind of stuff. And it got to a point during the season, we was playing a game, bro, and I think we had just crossed the point of not making it to the county tournament, like whatever the record was. And we got all in. He was like, come on, y'all. And everybody's like, getting hyped. And he's like, what's the point of this season? And he was like, it's to have fun. Because there ain't nothing else left we could do.
Oh, my God.
I was just like, oh, no. Oh, but, and then my junior year, oh, man, this is like bringing me back again. My junior year, I was so hyped. This was my first time starting varsity with like some solid dudes on the team. Like we had Kareem, who was like all county point guard. We had Marcus. Like, yes, bro.
Kyle.
And I was so hyped. I was like, this is my time, bro. You're getting ready to go. And that's when I really started getting riddled with like hella injuries.
I do remember
all the time. It would suck, bro. Like starting my junior year. and my senior year, especially when you guys were really like the core of the team by that point, I played like, I think 4 or 5 games my senior year. Because I was on the bench in a boot, basically.
I remember that.
It's actually funny. I remember it might have been like your first practice back my junior year, your senior year. And I remember you just saying like, yo, I'm bad. You was dunking.
I know. I was so hyped, bro.
Yeah.
And then I got hurt again. And the last one was the worst one. Like, that was the one, like, I was, like, even long past the basketball season, I was in crutches. And I just remember, like, my senior night or whatever, it was, first of all, it was only 2 seniors on the team. It was me and...
I think AG.
Yeah. And it was like, this is my last hurrah high school basketball. I'm sitting there not playing. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. Yes. But I've always been like interested in, music, writing, acting, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Writing was the first thing, like writing stories, like short stories, long stories, whatever. I've been doing that since I was, a child. And that's actually what I went to college. Like I majored in literature with a concentration in creative writing. So that's always been there. And then I think just as time went on, past the time, I mean, I still played ball for fun, open gym at college or like, in the park, whatever. But moving away from that being like a major part of my life allowed the time for like the other things, like to me, for me to like dive deeper into the other things I was interested in. Right. And so that's how I started, making music, getting into acting.
Right.
Spending a lot more time doing writing, all that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, I know you mentioned before the chemistry factor of your team. A lot of you guys from your class, particularly, you said had quit or transferred. I can kind of relate to that a little bit in my situation at Bergen. We had most of my class at Bergen either transferred or quit. So I got real cool with the younger class below me, the class of 2017. Guys like Taj and things of that nature. We're able to build that tight-knit group. But chemistry is huge, man. I mean, that's the key to winning games. You gotta be together as a cohesive unit. But I kind of want to just transition a little bit to while you were at PC. When you were at PC, did you ever dive into like, I guess the music and acting side of things while you were at PC? Did you do any type of plays? Were you part of any type of clubs at PC that kind of, got the ball rolling a little bit and to bring you where you are now?
As far as the acting thing, no, not really. I was never in like the school plays or nothing like that, really. Music was something I did, but it wasn't something that I was like seriously
more like a hobby.
Yeah, and so my dad and his siblings, they used to do a lot of music. They had like a band back in the day. They had like a reggae type band. My family's Jamaican.
I might have to see that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But so my dad has hella like music equipment in the crib, like keyboards and speakers and all this type of stuff. So I would do it kind of like you just said, just more as a hobby.
Right.
But I was always interested in it, but it was not something I was seriously doing.
Right.
That wasn't something until later. I was like, okay, let me like spend time on this, make my own, music, put my own, flavor to
creativity
it,
to it.
That's put it out for like people to listen to. That didn't happen until, I guess college, like late college, even though it's something I have been doing for a while.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything that you would say from like your athlete background or sports that like kind of helps you now going into music and even like thinking from the performing aspect? Like I know that like you get ready for a game, there's certain preparation, a mindset. Do you feel like there's some preparation, like what kind of preparation level it goes into like making a song or like kind of directing a short story or getting into that? And like, is there any connections to your athlete background to that?
I think the biggest connection would definitely be something I mentioned before was just like getting reps in. Like if you got a game coming up, you in the gym getting up, 500 shots a night. It's the same thing with like creativity. It's like what you see or like what somebody who's like a quote unquote creative puts out is a small percentage of like what you actually do. So there's a lot of like doing things just for the sake of doing them. Like I'll sometimes give myself a time, like 30 minutes, and it's like see what kind of like music, like what kind of beat or something I can make in that time. And just like doing things like that over and over again so that when it's time to, I have an idea that I want to make, it's easier to get it out. Same thing with like writing. This is something that a couple of my writing teachers like in college gave to us. There's like websites online that have like 100 writing prompts or something like that for a short story. And I try to just like do 1 or 2 a day just for the sake of getting those reps in and practicing.
Right.
So that the form is easy when it's time to like work on a real project.
Right. I love seeing that, man. I love seeing attributes and characteristics coming from the sports background and bringing them to things that you do now. Like you said, work ethic. Like work ethic is something that sticks with you whether you're playing sports, you're at a regular 9-to-5 job, whatever you're doing. And if you want to do it well and succeed at that, you got to have a work ethic. I think that's one huge component that sports definitely teaches kids at a very young age. I know that's personally where I, was able to kind of build my work ethic. Just being able to go to practice every day, seeing we have to be up early in the morning to do this. You got to put some time in on your own to get better at certain things. You can't just go to practice and expect to get better. Everybody's gonna be at practice. You got to have those hours that people don't see. Those hours off the court to build up your skill set and to be able to push yourself to the limits and to reach your ceiling, to reach your ceiling. So I think that's a real cool component that you bring there.
I just even want to just add a point, just hearing your high school story, you just see a lot of values like patience, you had a bunch of obstacles that you overcame and all that kind of stuff, hard work, determination, and all that kind of stuff you learned from sports. I just want to ask, so with the acting, do you have a personal role that you love the most, you enjoy playing? Do you have one that you think you played the best in? You have a personal favorite by any chance?
A personal favorite. It's actually funny I'm on this because I would love to be in a basketball movie. Something like Coach Carter Glory Road, bro. I would love. But as far as something I've done so far, I think my favorite role would have been a short film that I did called First Impressions. With this dude named Alex Orphan. If he ever listens to this, shout out to you.
Shout out to him.
But it's a story. It's kind of like a Black Mirror vibe type of thing. It's a story of like one night between two people who just meet. So like my character at the beginning of it wakes up and doesn't know where he is, and this girl finds him, and they not fall in love, but they have like a romantic night type of thing. And then at the end of it, well, not to spoil anything, but the night
go check it out.
The night repeats many times, and he's like caught in a loop that he doesn't know really. But yeah, that would probably have been the most fun I think that I've had.
Okay, so is it different when you're performing? The difference between performing as an athlete and an actor, is there a real difference there? Between like preparation, your mindset. Nerves and anxiety going into those things. Was there really a difference that you saw between the two?
I think they can be very similar, but there's also a lot of differences. I think they can both be very, very high energy, very like hype, and they can be anxiety inducing. But I think one thing that's more comforting, like as far as nerves, something that's more comforting about performing like music or acting or something like that is that you know exactly what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to do this song, I'm going to do this song, I'm going to do this song. Whereas, like, with sports, you practice however long, but when you get in the game, it's like anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that's also fun about sports, too. So it's like, there's pros and cons to both, I guess. But they're both fun, but they are both, I don't know.
I get you.
But, just talking about the First Impression video, definitely check that out. One thing I want to add is, Shorty at then, I don't want to spoil anything, but Shorty at then, I was like, man, she got me, so you definitely can't trust any face, I guess. But do you have like a certain routine you get into to prepping for a role, maybe?
I think my first routine, the first thing I do anytime when it's like confirmed that I got a role is to just memorize the lines.
How do you do
Because you don't want to be the one halting, whatever, because you keep messing up and having to redo stuff. Right. How do you do it? It's like reps. How you reps, man. How you remember your playbook. It's just like you just keep doing it over and over again. And then after that, it's like the process of trying to bring it to life, kind of. So it's like, I forgot who said this. I did like, the master classes online with people. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. He was doing an acting one. And he was like, I forgot the way he put it. He was like, you're not playing that character. It's like you're playing yourself in that character's shoes or something like that. So it's like, how would you react to the things that this character is going through? So it's like putting your, like fully like putting yourself into that thing, into that role. And then from there, it's like if the person who's directing whatever says, "No, do it more like this," then you adjust. But it's really just a mental thing, like getting into the role, getting into the character's mind, all that jazz.
Right. I mean, I have some acting some acting experience myself. You guys didn't know actually. When I was a kid, I did what was it? Lincoln Zephyr commercial, and back in like 2007. Yeah, I did a Blue's Clues episode. I was in one of those like the letters that for those who watch Blue's Clues, they had a letter that Steve used to bring out. And there was this band playing, and then they just had a bunch of kids like running around, jumping, and things of that nature. So I was in an episode of Blue's Clues as one of the kids running around, singing and dancing and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, my mom had me doing a bunch of auditions. So I remember like she would have me studying lines. You know, she'd give me the line script. I'd have to keep going over and over it again and again for these different commercials and these different roles. So I could definitely relate to that. Yeah, you definitely repetition will get you going. But
I definitely have a little bit of experience myself. 8th grade, St. Andrews days, I did the drama club, and it's so interesting because the athlete and like the drama club and acting is like two completely different populations and audiences. Yeah, exactly. But like it was cool though because I felt like I was in the center, like where I could like kind of go back and forth and interact. And part of me felt like I got the athletes to like A, more of them went to the play that year, and then B, like they started to understand like, wow, that's not too weird. But I actually acted in Annie. And they made me the President Roosevelt. No correlation to Obama being the president at the time at all. Being one of the only black kids. But it was a fun experience, and like that kind of made me take acting fundamentals class in college, which is interesting because like we spent like half the class like doing like these meditation kind of prep sessions like to get yourself in character.
And we had that class together too, right? Acting fundamentals.
I think you had it with Tommy. I took it the semester before, and then I was like, yo, you gotta take this class. Like this class is mad fun. Like it was obviously very easy to get like a good grade because you're not getting knocked on your acting skills. Like a lot of people.
Shout out to Ty for recommending that class.
Bro, we love a class that you don't have to do nothing for.
Oh, absolutely. Those are the best for sure.
So I guess to kind of build on your point, Tyler knows more than anybody. St. Brendan's, we had the plays. So 7th grade, believe it or not, me. Actually, played the lead role in Grease. So,
oh wow!
Man, I remember that.
Had me.
What you had the curls slicked back or something?
High notes. I had some high waters and bands.
Okay.
So I guess I had a little prep myself. But Tyler, I just want to ask: is there any tips to like young actors, producers, songwriters, anything that maybe wanted to know when you started out? Any advice you can give them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my first piece of advice would be just do it. Like, just start. If you like, there's lots of. I was just asking about like what you're using to record this podcast. There's tons of free like softwares that you can use to make music. You can buy equipment for not that expensive, really.
Right.
If you just look online, you can look on YouTube. What I did. Like look on YouTube. You can learn anything on there as far as production. How to write a song, that type of stuff. If you're into music, if you're into acting. Same thing, like just go for it. There's different sites. A couple of ones that I used were there's one called Backstage, where a lot of people who are just like small filmmakers, like either they like college students making projects or just independent filmmakers just going there and they're looking for people to be in their films. And so a lot of times they don't pay, but it's like that's how you get stuff on your resume for when you are trying to do bigger things.
Yep, gotcha.
And then as far as writing, the same thing. Like, just do it. Like, just write something every day. Eventually, you will get better. Like, you can't do something over and over and not get better at it.
Right.
Just go for it.
Right.
Yeah. I want to talk about a little bit about your directing. Like, is that like something more recent that you started like getting into directing? And I know we're gonna dive into like your Places We Don't Know music video, which was extremely dope. But
thank you.
Like, what about, like, directing? Like, because when I started thinking about it, I'm like, is it, like, coaching a little bit? Like, from an athlete's perspective, and, like, in terms of, like, preparing or putting the actors in the best situations to succeed? Yeah. Like, I want to talk a little bit about your directing experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I was interested in directing and writing, actually, before I was interested in acting. I liked the idea a lot of, like, telling the story. It was not until later that I was more interested in myself and, like, I want to be in it as well. But as far as, like, it is kind of like coaching, not in the same way, though. It's like you don't want to tell the people exactly what to do, but you just want to give them, like, actors the best idea of what you have for the thing, and then kind of let them run with it, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's the actor who's bringing it to life. And it's like I was saying before, actors go through a lot of preparation, and they will come with something, but then you want to guide them to what your vision is. It's very collaborative as far as acting. But... yeah, as far as the Places We Don't Know music video, which you were just talking about, the main characters really are two little girls. So that was real easy for me, to be honest. It was actually my little cousins. It was just like, it wasn't nothing crazy. And the grown woman is also my cousin. So it was not nothing crazy. But it was really just like the idea of showing like a friendship between two kids. So I really just gave my little cousin some chalk and some hula hoops and whatever. And I was like, yo, just play. And I'm going to catch it on camera. But it turned out like exactly how I wanted it to. So I was very like happy with the result of that. I didn't actually shoot it. I have a friend who's like a cinematographer. But I just, like I said a minute ago, I just gave them what my idea was and kind of let people who know what they're doing do it and
do what they do. Yeah. What was the kind of the meaning behind the music video? Because like you said, I remember watching it yesterday. You know, it was two little girls. It started off with two little girls playing around, you know, and it kind of is transitioning back and forth from the two little girls playing to the older woman. And then at the very end there, you know, she's coming up on the cemetery and she drops the flowers off. Now, some context clues there. You can obviously tell since it was only the one girl. Something obviously happened with that other girl. Do you want to talk a little bit about, you know, what kind of went into the inspiration of that music video?
So the idea of it was I was talking to, it was in a class actually while I was in college. I had the idea like a while before I actually did it. But it was in a literature class where we were talking about a story, like a short story. And one of the characters died in the story. It was two friends similar to the video. And something I would never forget that my teacher said at the time, it was like the reason that grief is so painful, especially with like a friend, is because you know how it's like when you're with friends, you got like certain inside jokes that you don't have with other people. And it's like, you know, it's different. So it's like what my professor said was like, it's so sad because when a friend dies, it's like not only does the friend die, but like the person that you were with that friend is also gone. And so that was the idea with this video. It was just to show them together playing, you know, just doing fun childhood things like what you remember from summertime when you were a little kid, just playing outside.
Right.
And just to show that even like no matter how long ago it was, that still sticks with you as a person. So the grown woman is, you know, one of the kids grown up, just thinking back on the times that, not just on the friend, but on the times that they had together that it's like you can't really have anymore because that person you had them with is no longer here.
Right.
And that idea was like the inspiration behind that video and that song.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's dive a little bit into your music a little too. I know you got a new single out called Inside Me.
Shout out.
Shout out Inside Me, you know. Go check it out on Apple Music, Spotify, things of that nature. Out right in time for spooky season, like Landon likes to mention.
We're here.
Yep, we are here.
Tap into it before spooky season's over.
Yep. Go listen to that. I know you also have a couple EPs out. Blue Midnight dropped a couple years ago. You know, you got 26, a little bit of a shorter EP. I would say, what was your favorite? What's been your favorite song that you've made so far? I was kind of curious to hear this.
My favorite song. This is like asking somebody who's their favorite child.
Gotta ask it.
So who's the favorite child?
No, I'm sure. It's fun. So the Inside Me one, that was the song that most out of all of them I made really just like for fun. Because like you said, spooky season. I wanted to just make I was actually real disappointed because I wanted so badly to shoot a music video for it. That was going to be like, it was going to be like a horror movie type of joint. Kind of like Us, like whatever. I ain't going to get all into it.
On some thriller shit.
I was exactly. Bro, I was going to be my thriller, y'all. I was so excited, but then it didn't happen. But anyway, maybe sometime in the future. But I do like that song a lot. I think my favorite song might be Places We Don't Know, the one I was just talking about. Just because one, like, even like when I listen to it, I still like feel the way I felt when I made it.
Right.
And it's like I feel like I'm listening to a song that somebody else made, which I like. And and the video that went with it, like the process of making that song was like a very happy time for me. Just as getting into like creativity and all that kind of stuff. So I might say that one. There's another song off the same EP that Places We Don't Know is on, called Wishes, that I like a lot too, because that's another one that really encapsulates how I was feeling at the time that I made it, and I like get thrown back and like when I listen to it.
Right.
Those are two of them. I mean, like I said, that's hard.
I like that. Yeah. I like how you let your creativity run wild. You know, you really are a true, you know, artist in your form on all aspects of everything that you do. You know, tying it back into sports, Kyrie Irving mentions this a lot, but he considers himself an artist. You know, he considers himself. I mean, and it's true. Like basketball to me is art. Like it's a form of art. Like watching different moves. Like you have to study, you know, different moves, but you can put your own twist and flair to a bunch of different things and come out of the box with things that you've never seen before.
Exactly. Like we all have this one set of moves almost, but I do it so many different ways to tie and leads. That same thing with like writing. You know, you could have, you know, maybe a certain plot or storyline, but I can write it one way. Tyler can write it a whole other way.
Exactly. That's one thing that I learned, especially in college, because a lot of times in my writing classes, the whole class would have the same like prompt, like write a story about this. And if there's 20 kids in the class, you would get 20 completely different, you know, interpretations of it. So that's something.
Right.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of even like a jump shot. You know, you take 20 different kids to shoot a 3-ball. I guarantee you, they'll probably all shoot it 20 different ways. You know, everybody's gonna have their own creative style and you know, kind of way of doing things. So I think that's really cool component to kind of, you know, tie into the sports aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And like, I think one thing I find cool about like the whole acting, film, like songwriting part, and like allowing yourself to be creative is that like, no one really knows what to expect. So, like, you know, like, I feel like a game you go out there, the expectation is A, to win, you know, B, you have defined ways of how you know how to play well and stat and stuff. But acting, I feel like you could go out there, you might, you know, change the lineup or, you know, say a line a different way. But there's a lot of kind of adjusting on the fly. So, what about that would you say about acting that you appreciate in terms of, like, being flexible, like to your point in the directing, let your actors kind of run wild with the creativity.
I like that's one aspect of it that I like a lot because there's so many like small things can make a really big difference. Like the way you pronounce a word can make a big difference. That's another thing I learned in this class I was listening to. Like the instructor, who was also you know, an actor, obviously, gave the same monologue, just a few sentences, but did it differently. And it's like the entire meaning of it is completely different depending on how you choose to interpret it and how you choose to, you know, portray it. So that's something I like a lot about not just acting, but like all, like art in general, like the idea of anything being up for interpretation kind of, and it's like anybody can get anything out of it. That's something that I like a lot.
Yeah. I hear you talk a lot about like classes, like master class, you got colleges. Clearly you're seeking a lot of forms of like education, ways to get yourself better and stuff like that. Any ones that you want to shout out that you think would help people, like in terms of classes that you think has helped you acting, songwriting, like?
So as far as let me see, I've taken different types of classes. So like, as far as acting, I think the best thing you can do is go to an acting class with other people, like with teachers and other people in the class that you like, and exercises that you do by yourself and with other people. Get feedback from the teacher. I think that's been the thing that's helped me the most. And there's plenty you can find, especially now. A lot of them are on Zoom and things like that. So it's like literally just a Google search away. And a lot of them are not that expensive either. I did one for like $100 or something like that, and it was like a 8 or 9 week course.
Oh wow!
And then as far as master classes, there's definitely a lot to learn there. But what is missing there is like the collaborative nature of it, because you're just watching lectures basically. Which don't get me wrong, you can get a lot out of it, which I did. But I don't think there's no substitute for like being in the environment with other people, doing the same things. And same thing with writing, like be in a place where you are writing and people are reading your writing and giving you feedback on it. It's the same thing. Right.
So I know I was kind of messing around with you, calling you Will Smith, because you know, writing, rapping, producing, directing,
playing basketball. Let's not forget Fresh Prince was out there hooping.
No Jada Pinkett Smith with the Will Smith. We'll take everything else. So do you have any actors, anybody, role models, you know, you really want to follow, study, kind of emulate, take things into your game?
Or even if it's an athlete too.
It's funny you mentioned Will Smith, because he's one of my favorite actors. I'm actually having an audition tomorrow for a...
Good luck with that. Good luck.
First of all, yes, please. I appreciate all the prayers. It's for a management like agency. I have to audition for them. And I have to prepare a scene. And what's funny is the scene I'm doing is actually that famous father scene from Fresh Prince.
That's going to be cool,
So definitely Will Smith. I think as far as like newer people, I really like Daniel Kaluuya, who's from Get Out, and Judas and the Black Messiah. He's one of my favorites.
That was a great movie. Oh my gosh.
A sneak pick who I would not necessarily have expected, but I really admire Zendaya Not just, I mean, she's on Disney Channel and all this kind of stuff. But like watching more of her newer stuff is like she has some like real talent, and I enjoy watching her. And like I've listened to interviews with like all the people I just said and their processes for preparing and all this kind of stuff. I think definitely them. Athletes, I think when I was playing ball, especially when I was younger, a player that I loved a lot was Blake Griffin. Especially because I was a big, and those are most of the players I was looking
dunking on everybody.
Exactly.
He still was dunking on everybody. To my fellow Nets fans, I know we get a little bit of a different Blake. I want Lob City Blake back. We got Lob City
so
Blake.
Much,
Lob City was crazy.
Y'all don't know how hard I was laughing when he came to Brooklyn and started dunking immediately after not dunking at all his whole time in Detroit.
James Harden was in Houston with it looked like he had like the weight vest underneath his t-shirt.
That's what it looked like.
In Brooklyn, they had like a 6-pack.
It's just
so hard. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, man. But back in like high school, middle school, it was definitely Blake. I did like Kevin Durant as well a lot.
KD.
KD is my favorite player right there.
And I know. Hey, look, I know you just mentioned too. You were at one of the final. In Toronto during when the Raptors actually won the finals. Talk a little bit about that, what that experience was like being there.
That was just so... Well, first of all, I was just hyped for the game because we were just talking a minute ago how much I did not like that era of basketball when KD was in Golden State.
KD was running it. Oh, my God.
So I was in Toronto with my cousins. I have some family who lives up there, and they are also huge basketball fans. So just to be in that like environment at the time, because they were, I mean, like my cousins were crying, like literally, just to be in that, just to be in that, like in an environment where I was already, not that I'm a huge Raptors fan, but I was just happy like for the game, but to be with people in that city who were like so like emotionally invested in it. It was just like
that sense of unity, because the whole Canada going for one team,
a
college team.
Country.
Imagine, like we were talking about, can you imagine if we did that in the U.S.? Imagine if all of us had just one team.
Right.
Like that team would
Lakers
be crazy.
That reminds me of like FIFA soccer, I guess, how countries like really are back in their team. Like you have a whole nation backing you right now.
It's kind of like the Olympics. They haven't Team USA, but that's their regular all the time. They just have one.
The Olympics gets tricky only because we dominated so much in terms of at least basketball. It's just like, okay, I feel like we take it for granted here in the States basketball wise. Other countries, I definitely think if they were, especially if they were to win gold and beat us, they would probably they would celebrate for days.
And for them to beat not only for them to win the championship, but to beat that Warriors team for their championship, it was just like the hype was incredible.
Right.
It feels like it was almost like they were the bad guys. Raptors are the good guys.
Yeah.
Classic movie ending. The good guys get the bad guys.
Like, shout out Kawhi Leonard for destroying 2 dynasties, bro. He hit the same joint to LeBron with the Heat.
Yep.
We got a chance to talk, review our days, back elementary school, PC, got a chance to dive into what you're doing, actively working on, and songwriting. Inside Me just dropped. I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners are going to go tap in and check that out.
Yes, sir.
Now, I really kind of want to dive into like, what do you want the Tyler Brooks band to be, going forward? What do you have in the works? You just mentioned the interview you have coming up. Like, what do you want to? What is the heights? Like, what ceilings are you trying to reach?
I mean, no ceilings, man. I feel like what I want to do. I mean, I guess it's what anybody wants to do, whether they are playing a sport or singing. It's just like I want to go as far as this thing will take me, man. I mean, I've been dreaming since I was a little kid of being, on the big screen in movies, writing and directing them, writing books, all this kind of. So it's just like I'm just trying to do whatever I can, take all the necessary steps to get myself there. And one thing that I do like a lot about art, as opposed to sports, is that it's something that you cannot really age out of. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you get to 40 and you ain't making it in basketball, it's like, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell you. But it's like,
Snoop Dogg's a great example of that. Snoop Dogg is still been so relevant, been relevant 30 years ago.
Exactly. And it's like, one thing is that you can be relevant for a long time, and also is that it's never too late, which is a idea I like a lot. So like I was talking about, the movie Black Panther. Yeah. There's one character in that movie who's like a very old woman. She's like one of the tribal leaders.
Yeah, I remember.
She's like the late 80s, and that was her first movie role.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like she had not acted professionally before that. Wow. So it's like you really can just keep going.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just trying to go as far as this train will take me.
I mean,
for sure.
Like you said, who's to say you have to have this done by this age, and this you have to have one role by this age, and this, so.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody offered me the lead role in a movie tomorrow, I'm
sure.
I'll take
that. 100%.
But yeah.
I do like that outlook on it though, because definitely sports is definitely an age thing. You do have time to obviously jump into sports, but your window, is limited to your body. Your body can only perform at that. There's only two guys I've seen defy these odds right now. That's LeBron James and Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked like he played till he about 70 years old.
The thing is too, I feel like even with them, they're tremendous athletes and they're escaping father time as much as they can, but that father time
will still catch up eventually.
Never loses, but with the writing and producing, making music, just being creative, you really extend your time.
Yeah,
right. Okay, so we're gonna dive into our segment like we do with all. We're gonna be doing with all of our guests. We're gonna get into start, cut, bench. So I know Landon gave you 3 options here. We're gonna go these 3 current NBA players, current bigs, since you were a big back in the days. Gotta show love to the bigs. So we're gonna go start, cut, bench. I'm pretty sure you're familiar kind of with the format. Pick one that you would want to start, pick one that you would want to cut, and pick one that you would want to bench.
Gotcha.
So for here we have Karl Anthony Towns, another New Jersey native.
Sir.
We have Joel Embiid of the 76ers, and then we can have Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. MVP.
Yeah,
so who you got? Let's hear it. Start, cut, bench.
All right, let me see. Shoot. It's hard because I feel like it's so interesting with basketball because positions in basketball are so fluid. It's not like something like baseball or football where if you are this position, you have a very specific role.
Right.
So it's these 3 bigs, but they all play very different.
Mm-hmm.
I think recency bias aside, I think I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck with Jokic.
Yep.
Being that he's a big who can, crash the boards and rebound, but his ability to pass and make his teammates better is just that's something that's invaluable on a team.
Right.
And then as far as Cat versus Embiid, that's tough, man.
That is a tough one. That is tough.
You know what? I'm gonna go Cat just because he's a Jersey dude.
I like it.
No other reason than that.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, speaking back on Joker, man, Joker is the truth. I mean, his ability to pass the ball, I would agree with you. I think he's number 1 out of these bunch. No taking no recency bias out of it. And he's durable. Just to add another reason, he plays every night. I know the other night he had a little bit of a scare. He banged his knee, but he's back the next day and he's hooping. He doesn't miss any games. Where these other 2 guys, Cat and Embiid, are definitely bound to miss some games. So I definitely would agree with Joker 1. I'd probably bench Cat 2 and I would cut Embiid. I think I'm feeling the same type of wavelength as you are.
Sick and tired of Embiid?
How I feel about Sixers players. Ben Simmons and don't get me started on Tobias fucking Harris. The most garbage star. All caps. You want to talk about someone who shrinks under pressure? Good God. Every time he gets to the playoffs, I'm where are you at, bro? Where are you at? Garbage, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just with this whole 76ers players. I just think none of them got much of an edge to them. But that's just me.
This is a tough one. I think, though, because I like to think about environment, and I feel like if Cat wasn't in Minnesota his whole career, that his heights would be a lot. He would, and he still puts up kind of cartoon numbers. So I'm actually going to start Cat. I'm going to start Cat just because I feel like if I put him in the right situation, if he got the situation, to play on that Nuggets team like Joker did, I'd like to see what Cat would be like in that environment. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bench Joker because, to all the reasons you guys just mentioned. And then, obviously, I'm going to cut Embiid. Can't stay healthy. And can't trust him to be on the court when I need him.
Yeah, I mean, usually with these start bench cuts, I try and go a little different route, but it's this one's
damn. No love for Embiid at all. Sounds like
I'm on my Charlie vibe. I'm cutting Embiid first. That's the first form of business. My big man, he can't be getting hurt all the time like that. And also, I think in the playoffs against the Raptors, he missed a couple games, stomach hurt and stuff like that. In the playoffs, I do not have no time. To miss a game with tummy aches, like that. And it's Halloween season, so I'm gonna go to Joker and then bench Cat because of Jersey. So that's my 3.
You know what's funny? Just to bring it back to PC days real quick. One time when I was I was either a freshman or a sophomore, I don't remember, but we played in the same tournament as Karl Anthony Towns because he was in high school at the same time. We didn't play his team, but we were in the same tournament.
Right.
He played right before us, and everybody knew he was the one at the time. And it was just funny because we got in and we saw the end of their game, And it was like watching him play in that game. That was a moment where like we all looked at each other and was like, "Yeah, we not going to the league. We not
That's the league dude
we not
right
doing
there.
what he's doing on the floor right now."
At 7 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving like how he moves, shooting the ball like he does at 7 feet tall in high school. It didn't make no goddamn sense.
I had never seen a 16-year-old catch an alley-oop before and shake the whole backboard like that. I was like, "Oh, all right, man."
Yeah. Actually, this is a super random story, but do you remember, I forgot what team in Patterson, but we scrimmaged a team in Patterson in St. Brendan's on like a random Tuesday night. They had like blue jerseys. And just speaking on to your point, I remember being in 6th grade and these dudes was tapping a glass.
Yes.
I remember watching
that.
them tap the glass, looking at them like, like what's going on?
What the hell y'all been drinking?
I was looking at them
Type
like they
of water.
just fire. Like, wait, what
This
is
is
that?
double clapping.
Some was double clapped, and this was back in the day, like at recess, we're gathering around to grab the net.
Yeah,
to test
exactly.
our athleticism on that.
It's just certain moments you always remember when you realize that like you thought you was nice, and then you see somebody else doing something that's like, I can't. Matter of fact, you went to Bergen, right?
Yeah.
We played Bergen one time, and y'all had this dude. I think he was like an international dude.
Yeah,
was it
Checo? Yeah, it might have been Checo.
I don't know, but this dude
Big
was
Italian looking dude?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Checo.
I saw this man take off from near the free throw line and cock it back behind his head in our house, in PC. I was like, Coach, please don't even put me there.
Looking like Tony Kukoc.
Dude.
Yo.
And like he went D1, but like I think I know he got hurt while he was at St. Joe's, but bro, that's when you know, like going to the pros, going to the league, you gotta be different.
I will die on this hill, bro. There are no bad.
There's not at all. The worst NBA player will go to your local LA Fitness or whatever and try. Because you think about it, like there's people who's like legend. Like, you remember Isaiah Briscoe when we was in high school?
Oh yeah,
this dude was a New Jersey legend, dog. Like
yep.
if he was at a tournament, you knew he was there.
Yes.
Everybody was going, and it's like he didn't really make that much noise in college. Didn't really make it to the league, and so it's like, who did, Like if this dude didn't, like who is in the league? You know what I'm saying?
And look at the contracts too; they're millionaires. And you got to think, like, if you're an owner and you had that amount of money, would you just give that to somebody you didn't think could play basketball? If that makes sense. Like, why would they be bad if they are professionals? There's only people who are better than others. There's nobody in the league's bad. I hate that term.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. No, I think all of that makes sense. Before we close it out, I have to definitely shout out our first sponsor. This episode is sponsored and brought to you guys by the Villa. The Villa is a sneaker, streetwear, and vintage clothing store brand located in Ridgewood, New Jersey. The Villa carries the most exclusive, sought-after sneakers and clothing on the market, from Jordans, Dunks, V-Lone, Essentials, and much more. The Villa provides the hottest items at the best prices, whether you're in America, across the world. The Villa ships worldwide, giving people all over the world a chance to get their hands on the most popular brands and fashion items. The Villa gets new inventory every day, so don't miss out, and follow them on Instagram @BuyTheVilla. That's BUY, The Villa, and check out their website at www.buythevilla.com and order from wherever you are in the world. The link will be in our description for you guys to check them out. Shout out By the Villa for our first sponsorship, and I'm going to turn it over to El to close us out today.
You got it. Just before we go, just like to say, remind you guys, Inside Me just dropped in time for spooky season.
Yes,
Please
sir.
bump that. We were all tapped in on the way here. Feel me? Have my head rocking. I can't wait to show more people about that. And then just follow him on his social media pages. So YouTube, we have Tyler Brooks. That's TYLER space BROOKS. On IG, that is the Tyler Brooks _ Now TikTok. This guy, we be kind of keeping it low key, but this guy,
Yes, sir.
yeah, find his TikTok. He's definitely gonna make you laugh.
Another TikTok star.
Another TikTok star, and his TikTok is @the Tyler Brooks, no underscores or spaces. And last but not least, Twitter as well. I'm just shout out everything pretty much.
For sure, man. Appreciate it.
@the Tyler Brooks as well. Once again, thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man, we appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
you,
Thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow on your opportunity.
Thank you.
We're gonna pray for you, bro.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Appreciate it.
He gonna get it.
Yep.
I got no doubt he gonna
And
get
then,
it.
I'm sorry, this is my favorite part of the segment. Merch is coming.
Merch.
It's coming.
It's coming.
I always say
Yes, sir.
merch is coming. Stay tuned. You guys are gonna be dripped out just like us. That's it. Anything else?
No, that's it. Really. I mean, check out his website too. I know if you want to get a quick snippet at some of his short films. His website has everything up there, links to his music, things of that nature. www.tylerbrooks.com. Real simple. On his Instagram as well, so you can find all his stuff out there.
Real quick question is the website is Tyler A. Brooks.
Tyler A. Brooks. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. So yeah, good save. I don't want to take you out to the wrong site. So.
He has so much stuff he's doing. He has stories coming out, writing music, producing beats, directing. Stay on the lookout for this guy. You might see him on the front page.
Yep. And real quick, just shout out our own socials. Follow us at the.juicecrew on Instagram, the.juicecrew on TikTok. We had a pretty viral moment the other day. Finally, apparently a lot of people think Ty's fantasy football team is trash.
I'm 5-2, but it's trash.
Yeah, clearly he's got some haters in there. I didn't know you had so many haters out there, Ty. But
they get caught up in like these 5-man fantasy leagues.
I guess so.
Somebody who doesn't have Alvin Kamara on their bench.
Yeah,
like who the hell you drafted?
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. It's okay. We know. We know. But other than that, guys, we're closing it out here. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out, guys.
Peace.